Getting people into model making can be really hard. It's perceived as having lots of little barriers to entry, whether that's the paints itself, the additional glue that you might need, and also the skill side of things. So, the actual skill to paint onto the model itself and putting on the decals in the right and accurate way, which sometimes can be quite fiddly. There's a dexterity element, and so there's lots of reasons why people might avoid modelling as a hobby. Well, that and the immense amount of time it can take. So back in the 90s, I remember Airfix did some more generic style toys that were model kits, like snap together kits, but they went from being sort of generic toys to split into two different factions. On the one side you had the shady shadow force, which obviously I'm dressed for. On the other side of the good, you had the commando force. Actually, commando force had some of the cooler vehicles, but we'll get into that. I've gone back to my childhood of being a goth because I'm living my shadow force realness. So as I said before, these sets were designed that they would just clip together, so there's no glue mess risk or no fume risk either. After you've clipped the model together, you would then put some stickers on it to customise it, either like the box art itself, or you could do something, unique to customise it to your own design. There were quite a few different kits to choose from that you can see behind me. That was boats, a tank, plane, a helicopter and van, and then the one I remember most is the motorbike, purely because as a kid I grew up playing Command & Conquer 95, and obviously I loved playing as Nod because they had the attack bikes, and yeah, so that's all it reminded me of. When I was a kid, I'm pretty sure I had both, I had one of the boats, I had the helicopter, and I'm pretty sure I had the motorbike as well. I'm not quite looking at the box yet, but to pre-warn you, the one I got is in not great condition, but it's fine. I didn't pay very much for it. I got it on eBay because there wasn't really anywhere else to get it from, and it was the only one I could really get my hands on, and luckily it was a helicopter, which I actually really like the design of. And also, the kit is almost as old as me, so I'm basically a grandma at this point, aren't I? So Airfix went all out with these kits. They have a completely unique boxing, the colours were different to distinguish the junior range from the regular model kit range, so you couldn't get one by accident. They had completely unique designs on them for Shadow Force or Commando, so it wasn't like they were real nations either, so that was also quite good, encouraged imagination. What was also really, really fascinating, and I think quite cool, was that they had comics on the back of each box. They sort of remind me of colorized Commando comics, if anyone, again, is old enough to remember those, if they're still going, maybe? Okay, I checked, and they are. Each boxing had a unique comic featuring, the vehicle or whatever that you've bought that time. I've managed to get quite a lot of them, and I'll link you to the article for this model that I've done that has a lot of them in, because I think it's important to archive these for history, of course. But there were two kits that seemed really elusive, which was the Eclipse and the Gladiator, which are both based off the same, basic AFV, they're the tanks, and they just seem to be non-existent. I've seen one Gladiator pop on eBay, and it was really expensive and international, and I didn't fancy paying that for something, so I didn't. If anyone has a Gladiator or Eclipse and they can take the picture of the comic on the back and send it to me, I'll update the article because it'd be really cool to preserve those two. If you do want to check out the article, link is in the description. Either way, the comics are pretty stunning, just considering they were on the back of boxes, and most people probably never really looked at them afterwards. I remember when I was a kid thinking it was really cool, and obviously it would give you ideas for what you were playing with the kits for, because these kits weren't really designed to just, sit on a shelf and exist and be to look at a show or something. These are designed to be played with, to be repairable, I guess. The plastic is different from things I've read online from many, many years ago. That's a more durable plastic, and certainly from handling it, it seems like that, because obviously I've already finished mine. So these kits were re-released during the early 2000s, and also seem to be under sort of an Airfix Clicks brand that, I'll be honest, I don't really remember at all. Honestly, that branding looks more generic, more, you'd see it on a supermarket shelf, Sainsbury's, Tesco, whatever, and you'd see it on the shelf and be like, oh, that looks okay for a child. But it doesn't seem like something a child would go and pick out. It's a really, I don't know, obviously the branding didn't work or whatever on the original 90s release, and they re-released it under that, but I'm assuming it's never been massively successful because Airfix haven't gone back to it. But some manufacturers have, as we'll go on to. Because yes, some of these have been re-released, and from what I can see, Hella seems to be one of the main manufacturers re-releasing these. Now, Hella have their own story that we won't go into today, but obviously they've been under quite a few different brands, and the kits themselves were released under different brands as well. These seem to be between like 2010 to 2015. Some of them don't seem to have 100% accurate dates, and I can't see them on the Hella website, so all I know is they don't exist anymore. But they were released under Hella Gelstra originally, mainly with the Gelstra branding, and then under just Hella Junior on its own. The Hella Junior version had its own little catchphrases of being like a kit clack brand, and also had the phrase click et jouer, which is just click, clip and play. As I say, it's not on the website anymore, and I couldn't find these on eBay either. I could find like the original release, but not any of the recent ones, so meh, they clearly didn't do well. Or they did really well and just ended up in landfill, but that makes me really sad, so we're not gonna go with that. Oh, it's so hot in my room, honestly, like, because I'm recording, I shut the window, I put my fan off and everything, and I'm so hot. It's unreal. So if I look a bit sweaty, that's why. Also, the anxiety is pretty bad. So today we're looking at the Phantom, which was originally released under Hella Humbrol, which was a click clack brand, which was just a lot of different, say, like generic key vehicles, quite often released in different, I guess, guises. So like safari, emergency rescue, ambulance, whatever. Lots of different ways that they were recorded. This aircraft itself, or helicopter, is based off a Dauphin SA-365. The scale of it, I'm not entirely sure of. Some things I've seen say around 1/72. It seems slightly bigger than that. It seems like it's just a very generic toy size, but it's definitely not like, I wouldn't say it's 135, wouldn't say it was 1/72. Maybe it's 148, I don't really know, to be honest. Let me know in the comments if you know what scale this is meant to be. I don't know helicopters well enough to be like, oh yes, this is this size, because no. I need to do more helicopters, but right now I just don't know. So the Phantom version we're building today isn't like the emergency rescue ones to say it's part of the Shadow Force. So I guess like they're the evil, or I'm assuming they are because, you know, Shadow. And it's got like little ghosties all over it and lots of purple. It's a black plastic, so it'll be black plastic, purple stickers on top of that, and then Phantom on it. It's got purple Broke Blade stickers that you put on it as well. I think it looks really, really nice for a kids toy. For me though, I don't want to put the stickers on it because I know they're going to come off, and I sort of want to practice some freehand painting a little bit. Again, like, it's really relaxing. It's painting a blob basically for a ghost, so I figured I might as well. I literally ordered some paint at like 1 in the morning on Amazon, and it arrived the next day for me to do this because I was just like, no, I'm gonna do it. So this is the paint I've got because I can't remember. I was gonna try and do like a full Airfix one and get Humbrol paint, but that didn't have next day delivery, and I just wanted to get this done in one day because I was in the mood. There are a couple of stickers I'll have to use, so like where it says Phantom on it, I know I can't hand paint that well. I also don't have a brush good enough to paint that, I need to get one, so for now we're just going to use the sticker for that. Otherwise everything's going to be done in black and purple. I'm also going to like edge things with like a lighter purple, make it look a bit more cartoony, I guess, and then also shove some weathering on it. In my head, their maintenance probably isn't the best part, it's probably harder to get. I imagine it's much more make and men do. I don't know, I don't think they're like the Brotherhood of None who have their own industry, so that's my head canon, and that's why mine is like really weathered. There's like rust all around the doors and stuff, you'll see it later. Anyway, let's go into the unboxing of this kit, and well, after that we can have a look at the building, can't we? First thing first, can't use my black background because this is a black plastic kit, so we're using the red. Let's have a look. There we go, here's the box, and inside, there we go. And let's have a look at the instructions first of all. So the instructions are like a mission briefing, and they're very simple actually. These are really good, I think, for younger modelers. I mean, it's basically as easy as Lego, I'd almost say, and it's only a couple of steps because there's no painting, no gluing. It's really easy, it shows you where to put stickers in with blue. Yeah, here's the stickers, and you can see these are quite old, obviously from 1997, or potentially a little bit later, but they're starting to peel. The stickiness is also gone, as I've discovered later on, and I didn't really want to use them that much anyway, because I was just going to paint stuff on myself. I didn't have like my best brush, so it is going to be slightly messier. So let's have a look at the actual parts themselves. So the parts will come on these sprues that are really easy to waggle off. You can feel it's a different plastic, I think. The rockets look alright, obviously duplicates, and the glass is, or the canopy section I guess, is quite thick. It has a lot of scratches on it because it's been loose. I think it came on a sprue originally, so that's not, I don't think Airfix survived. I think it's just how it's been stored. Everything else is quite flat, not very detailed, and it's obviously just designed for simplicity and just to be fitted together by a child and be played with, really, above all. There's nothing super detailed. Obviously you can see all the other forces, or the units of the forces here as well. The Gladiator and Eclipse that are impossible to get. Liberator, which I really want to do because I just think it looks ridiculous. It's like a Cessna with missiles. Night Owl, which is obviously the nod bike that I always think of, even though it actually has a driver in the comic. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess maybe we should head on to the construction. Construction then. Starting by taking the fuselage apart and just having a look and see how it fits together. Not obviously pushing it together because I was a bit worried if I snap it together I might not be able to unsnap it. Realistically you probably could, but I didn't want to have to then, you know, mess around with it. So I was going to do everything sort of as you need to. Getting the seats off there, which you can see I've got like massive bits that go below the seats, and that's so it can slide into place. It's very well engineered, really, this thing. One of my seats, I don't know if I caught it on camera, but I did have to glue in place because it was kind of just sliding out. But I think that's, again, just age, probably plastic fatigue. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, several times I just kept pulling it towards me, and I think it's because, particularly because I've got longer nails, it's quite hard to just push stuff in. So forgive me if it comes off camera quite a few times. I don't know what was up with me when I was making this. I just didn't seem to just use the camera as I normally do. But either way, pushing the seats into place, really easy. And just having a look at the glass and the canopy, how that fits into place in front of them. And I didn't realise there's actually a cockpit sort of instrument panel to go in as well. I thought it was like some underslung bit because I was looking at the instructions and I was like, this doesn't work, it can't go underneath, there's no hole for it. And then obviously realised that it doesn't go underneath anyway. So yeah, that was kind of really awkward when I did that, But I needed to paint it first along with the seats as well because we can't just be having grey. If we're going to be painting the outside, might as well paint the inside. So you can see the purple paint that I'm using now, just taking it off the top. I'm not really bothered about thinning it down, to be perfectly honest. This is meant to look like a toy anyway. And the paint's quite relatively thin anyway, so I'm just doing quite like single coats. I will then go over with a black to tidy up the sides as well, because I don't love the grey. I think it stands out too much against the rest of the kit. I don't know. I know obviously why it's done that way, so it distinguishes it from the rest of the kit when you're just slapping it together. But because I'm not doing that technique, I figured I might as well paint it black and purple to fit the theme of the rest of the helicopter. So you can see I'm just filling in the grey parts black there. I think I missed some of the sides because I couldn't reach them because I put them in, but I wasn't that bothered. You're not going to see them anyway, so you know, it is what it is. And this kit was done as sort of just a one-day thing. Well, not even a day, like a couple of hours, I think. I was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer whilst making it, so you know, it was that sort of really chill, relaxing thing. This is the cockpit instrument panel, and I went over it with purple and then sort of edged a lighter purple on the sides of it, just to give it a bit of a cartoony, comic-y look. You know, this isn't meant to be a serious model, so I figured why not just do some like highlighting on the edges with a lighter shade. It's not like a an ombre to like, you know, like from one shade to another. It literally is just like a solid highlighting, and then I just sort of filled in and tidied up a little bit. I was going to do a dark purple in the middle, but to be honest, I didn't think it looked nice, so just went with purple. You have to put the instrument panel in place before you put the glass in. I did try to do the other way around and it didn't work, so yeah, that's how you do it. After that, it's a case of snapping together the fuselage halves. Now, I did find that the cockpit glass, canopy, whatever, I don't know how you refer to it on helicopters, in all honesty, but that did move when I snapped it together, probably because I didn't have something in place properly. So in the end, I had to there's a little hole on the top, and I just sort of used a tool, I think it's like one of my clay tools, just to poke it in, and it seems okay in the end. Now, I did realise I missed something out the tail, which was the tail rotor. It has one, like, not an external one, like one of those ones that's just inside it. Again, helicopter terminology, not my strong point whatsoever. So I unsnapped the end, and you can see me putting it in there. It's already a grey. I will go over it with a silver paint later, and also some little bit of weathering, and also the tail wheel as well, because this does have built-in landing craft, which is again nice because you can use it for playing and it can land and do all that jazz, so it's nice. Pitting in the side window, I think I can just show you doing one here, just so you can see what you do. Literally just put it in place and snap it. Now this bit is for the front. It changes the shape of the aircraft, gives it more of an aggressive feel, and I couldn't work out, and I didn't quite get it on camera because you really had to properly snap it in place, and for it to be easy, I was a bit worried about breaking my nails. I'm going to be really honest with you and girly that I was just way worried about that. So you don't fully see me do it on camera, but you snap it in. It says you can snap it like as one piece in the instructions, I think, but I just did it in 2 pieces and it was absolutely fine. And you can see the little bit for the bull turret on the front there that have like a good like 180 degree of motion, and also some up down, which I've just put in there, and I'm just like cutting off some of the sprue pieces, but it looks really nice, and you can see it obviously looks a lot more aggressive already. Run to the painting then, because the assembly has pretty much been done. Apparently I missed putting the doors in, but it's the same as the windows, you just snap it in, and I'm just going over the whole model with a black matte paint. Now, because this is meant to be a stealth helicopter that apparently makes no noise because it's also a magician, I originally was just going to leave it as a matte black, but to be honest, I didn't love it matte black, and I thought it needed a bit of shine. It's meant to be a bit of a toy, it's not meant to be serious, and it's meant to be, I guess, a bit camp, so in the end I didn't keep with that. After I did the matte black, I decided to edge a lot of the sections, so like these, the wing-mounted rocket section. I really should learn helicopter terminology, shouldn't I? But I guess these wing sections, I edged them with a lighter purple, and I would fill them in later with a darker purple. This would be my running theme throughout pretty much the entire aircraft. I just think that having the lighter purple just makes it more interesting and a bit more cartoony, comic-y than the flat purple that the stickers give you, and I much prefer it. To be honest, I just thought might as well. Painting the ghost is sort of like a blob, and tried to follow the stickers. The stickers almost look like really flat birds, so I tried to follow them, but I don't think I did great. The paintbrush I have, I'm going to be honest with you, really worn out and wouldn't stay as a point. I love these brushes when I got them, I don't love them now. I do need to sort of upkeep them a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. So I did manage to get some okay, silly, cartoony looking ghosties at the end. The end result I think looks better. It's a bit hard to see with just the purple because the stickers are like a really like proper royally purple, distinct, like separate entity to the black plastic, particularly a matte black plastic. These look like they don't show up. I can assure you they do show up in the end. Just have faith in the process. It's one of those things where you think, oh god, am I doing the wrong thing? And by the end you're like, no, trust the process, trust the process. So I'm just going to cut me doing it on different sections here. So obviously I'm doing it on each side. Every side is mirrored. They're not going to look 100% the same because they're being hand painted, and I'm not an amazing like freehand painter. And I've done it on the mid fuselage again, like the diagrams. I think they're all meant to be the same size, but mine are all different sizes, so you know, deal with it. There's also one to do on the tail as well that I think I'll skip to in a second. But yeah, basically I just do the outlines and then I just fill it in, and I try and keep everything nice and tidy, but obviously I can always go back over with the black afterwards, so I'm not too concerned about being super tidy. There you go, you can see me doing it on the other side as well. Doing the big outline, and then I just sort of fill it in afterwards with the purple. Is the easiest way to do it. They're not very complicated shapes. They can look really silly and goofy, they are meant to. But yeah, just trust the process. It will look fine in the end, I promise you. It did take a little bit of time though. You can see I'm like really focusing, but really it's just a blob, and on the screen I think it just looks awful, but just trust me, please. Okay, so yeah, we've got the little ghostly tail coming off to the bottom as well that we need to just finish off there. And again, it's all just one purple at the moment. There we go, there's the tail one. The tail one I think is weird. They're not my favourite because I don't think I did them very well. But that's not Airfix's fault or anyone's fault. All of the ghosts looking a bit weird is my fault. Now, the stickers have the top sections having like these, I don't know, like rounded spiky edges. I don't know what you'd call them. They look like almost like castle tops or hedges. But I didn't love them, so I decided I was going to do sort of a flat purple and then edge it again. I thought it would just look nicer, particularly with how I've done mine, because mine blend more into the model as opposed to the, you know, the stickers, which really pop out and give that massive punch of vibrant purple, which mine just don't do. Realistically, probably should have just underdone, or I guess re-undercoated every section white where I was going to do the purple. That would have got me a much more vibrant purple, but I sort of like how they blend in. It looks really like they're meant to be there. I don't really know how to explain it. It looks like comedically deliberate, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I did go over some of the ghosts again just with a bit more purple just to layer it a little bit because they weren't super bright, and then I went over to the front cockpit section. Now, because the glass is on the inside, it looks a bit weird to my eyes just because of other model kits I do where obviously the glass like really is normally like one piece or it goes flush with the plastic. In this instance it doesn't, but I painted it all purple and then I would edge it again, but in a slightly different way on the cockpit section just to give it a bit more variation, I suppose. I tried to do the bits that were close to the glass and a lighter purple. They're almost like underneath sections in a way, so I figured like when it's like flying towards you you'd probably see them, and then if it's like on the side you probably wouldn't. And yeah, I don't know, I did what I did. I think it looks okay. I did have to mix the purple a few times because I'll be honest with you, it was that hot I just couldn't be bothered to get up and refill my water palette, my wet palette even, so I did remix it a few times, but getting the same shade wasn't particularly hard because it was just a tiny bit of purple with, you know, a little bit of white, so not super difficult. Also painted the doors in a dark purple, which again later on I would go over and sort of not really edge, but sort of like make them look like they were worn away. They'd gotten lighted because they were worn, because the doors are the bit of this that I'd always imagined would be the most used, because I imagine this being like the Hind would have been originally, where it was like a transport helicopter and attack helicopter, because it's meant to be silent, is for like infiltration, I guess. So I'm filling in these wing sections as well with purple, and I would have to re-edge some of these as well. You'll see why in a moment, but I went for a much brighter purple, and yeah, I don't know, it just didn't look distinct enough, if you get what I mean. So I really wanted to look a little bit silly in a way. So you can go, apparently I didn't get full footage of me doing it, but you can see me just like going over it with the lighter purple. And I'm also doing it on the ghosts, so I do it on their hands, and I do it on one side of the ghost, so I didn't want to fully outline it because I thought that would look really, really weird. So I did sort of one side and it matched, like on each side, all the ghosts would be the same. And I think I got a nice looking sort of almost shadowy effect from it. Again, it's very cartoony, very, very basic because I'm a basic bitch painter. But I think it looks alright, honestly. I don't know. You can judge me as much as you want to know, I suppose. But it was just a really simple way to do it. The stickers themselves are pure purple and they've just got black eyes. I also didn't like the black eyes either, so I will do white eyes later on. But I've got to go over and do this on all the ghosties first. Just before we head on to the eyes though, you can see that I'm just highlighting that tail spine section. It's not the neatest I've ever done, but I think it looks fine. I would tidy up a bit later on, but I think it looks alright. It's starting to come to life a bit more. It looks a bit better than just a flat object. Now you can see I'm going over like with a smallest brush, and I keep using just dipping it and trying to get as sharp an edge as possible and just doing tiny little eyes. There's only one section which is on the tail that I really didn't like how I did it, and I just tried to tidy it with purple paint, but overall I was really happy with these turned out. I've already painted the rotogades. Purple is just pure purple at the moment, and just slam it into place, and then we edge it again. Now, because of the light coming in from the window, it looks like it's pure white, but when you can see, once I finish this one, it'll rotate and you can see how this is like a really really bright purple, and I think it looks really nice on the rotor blades on top. And obviously when it would be spinning in real life, it would just blend into a brighter purple. It would be really cool. But yeah, you can see it now. Just turning it to do the next one, you can see that really lovely bright purple. And well, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So it's on to the final reveal. Well, hey, what do we think? This is quite durable. I'm not really concerned about breaking this. Also, there's only one little bit of glue on this, as you probably saw in the construction, which is the seat on the left-hand side, I think, because it wouldn't stick. The doors do still open and shut, hopefully. It's like lost it. Yep, there we go. So, they open and shut still. Mine are a bit stiff just because I've glossed them, and also it's not the easiest with my nails, but you know, they work. It's kind of a bit easy to screw up the missiles being in a straight line because they sort of fit slightly under there. There we go, let's straighten again. Rotor blade spins really nicely, be cool if you're a kid, and obviously the missiles also detach but not super easily. So obviously if you're a kid you can be like yeah, I find that weirdly satisfying. Yeah, I really like it. I don't think it looks bad. I'm glad I painted it on. I think my ghosts look kind of okay. I did just outline them on sort of one side, drew some eyes on them white. I don't think it looks bad in any way, shape or form. It looks like a kid's toy, which it's meant to. It looks cartoony, which it's meant to. Glad you can see the control panel inside, which is like bright purple and not edged it. We should do the usual of buy or fly. So if you want something for a younger child or someone who perhaps lacks the dexterity for a normal starter kit that they currently make, then this is definitely a good option to start with. If you're scared of painting or you're just not very confident at all, then also a good place to start. But these tend to run quite expensive at the moment because they are an old kit. You can get some of the older click-back ones under the Hella Humble brand, which are much cheaper. I've seen some of them go for like £5. I've also seen that a lot of people use them for like wargaming because they seem to be about the right scale for that. So that's also really cool, really good use for them. I think it's hard. I think if this was in the 90s, I'd be saying like, yes, 100% buy this kit. But otherwise, I think I'm going to say fly. Like, it's just something you should skip over. Fly to the next one, because it's not... I don't think it's something most modelers are getting out of. And the standard of Airfix starter kits today are so easy to do that I think they're probably better to get an actual modeler into it. They come with everything you need. Sometimes the paints are dried out, but we won't talk about that. But no, honestly, today's starter kits are so much better. Well, I think that's it for the video today. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had fun. I'm so sorry that I'm like, I can literally feel how much I'm sweating, so I'm gonna like literally run and open the window, get my fan back on full blast, and also let my cat come in, because this room like chills really quickly because it's quite small, but also turns into a sauna really quickly. If you've liked what you've seen here today, please hit the subscribe button. Also leave me a comment below, let me know what your favourite model kit was when you were a kid that you'd love to revisit. If you'd like to support me, you can do so over on Ko-fi, the link is in the description. You can do this one-off donation, or you can do it monthly. I really appreciate it. It just goes towards, you know, new models or paintbrushes or whatever. And hey, if you don't want to do any of that, that's cool. I'm just happy that you were here to join me for this video. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified of every new video on Mondays. You'll also be able to see me stream live on YouTube. Thanks again, I really appreciate it. Have fun modelling!